Full speech, motivational style. Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you something. How often do you feel tired, drained, or simply disconnected from your own body? What if I told you that the secret to unlocking your hidden energy isn't locked away in a laboratory, but right here in a single drop of castor oil? For centuries, castor oil has been called the liquid gold of natural healing. Our ancestors used it not only for its medicinal properties, but also as a tool for activating the body's natural energy flow. And here's the fascinating part. When you massage a specific spot with castor oil, something incredible begins to happen. You don't just heal, you awaken. Why does this work? Because our body is a map of energy points. These points are like silent switches waiting to be turned on. When you massage them with castor oil, you're not only nourishing your skin, you're signaling your body it's time to rise, it's time to heal, it's time to shine. Think about it. How many times have you ignored your own fatigue, your own stress, while running after life's endless demands? Isn't it time you gave yourself permission to restore? To recharge? This simple practice is more than self-care, it's self-respect. And let me tell you something powerful. Once you commit, once you make this ritual part of your life, transformation will follow. Energy. Yes, clarity. Absolutely. Confidence? Without a doubt. So I challenge you today, don't just hear these words, act on them. Tonight, take a small amount of castor oil, massage that spot, and feel the difference. Because within you lies a powerhouse of energy waiting to be unlocked, and the key is already in your hands. Unlock it, lev it, and never forget, your hidden energy is your hidden strength. For thousands of years, before modern pharmacies, before synthetic drugs, before we even had complicated machines to measure the body, human beings looked toward nature for healing. Isn't that fascinating? At a time when there were no laboratories, no advanced technology, people still survived, thrived, and discovered ways to unlock energy, vitality, and balance. How? Through ancient remedies, timeless practices passed down generation after generation, trusted not because of marketing but because of results that spoke louder than words. Castor oil is one of those golden secrets of nature. In the ancient world, it was not just seen as an ordinary oil, it was revered. Civilizations like the Egyptians, the Greeks, the Indians, and even the Chinese all discovered its unique power. Records from thousands of years ago show that castor oil was used for cleansing, healing wounds, strengthening immunity, and restoring the body's natural rhythm. Why would cultures spread across the globe, with no connection to each other, all choose the same oil? Because truth reveals itself again and again, no matter where you look. What makes castor oil so extraordinary? Its unique composition. Unlike other oils, castor oil is rich in a compound called ricinoleic acid. This isn't just a technical word, it's the very reason why castor oil acts like liquid medicine for the body. Ricinoleic acid has anti-inflammatory properties, antibacterial powers, and the ability to stimulate circulation. Imagine this: every time you massage castor oil into your skin, you're not just soothing your muscles, you're sending tiny signals through your body to calm inflammation, to detox, to awaken energy flow. Doesn't that sound like your own personal pharmacy in a bottle? But let's go deeper. Ancient remedies like castor oil didn't survive thousands of years by accident. They survived because they worked holistically. Modern medicine often focuses on symptoms. If you have pain, take a pill. If you have stress, swallow another. But ancient practices looked at the whole picture, the body, the mind, the energy. And that's exactly why castor oil became so revered. It wasn't just for skin or hair. It was for cleansing the digestive system, supporting fertility, easing joint pain, calming the nerves, even improving sleep. One oil, countless benefits? How could something so simple be so powerful? That is the magic of nature's design. Think of how powerful this lesson is. In today's world, we are constantly running for deadlines, running for responsibilities, running until we collapse from exhaustion. And what do we do when we're drained? We look for quick fixes, energy drinks, pills, stimulants that only mask the fatigue for a few hours. But what did our ancestors do? They returned to nature, they massaged, they rested, they honored rituals with oils, herbs, and touch. They believed energy wasn't something to chase, it was something to awaken from within. Isn't that the truth we've forgotten? Let me share something that makes this even more incredible. Modern science is now catching up with what ancient remedies always knew. Clinical research shows that castor oil packs placed on the abdomen can improve lymphatic drainage, support detoxification, and even stimulate immune response. Imagine that, an ancient grandmother's remedy is now backed by science in medical journals. that tells us something powerful. Wisdom that stands the test of time is not superstition, it's truth. But the question is, why castor oil specifically, and why massaging with it can unlock energy? Because massage itself is one of the oldest healing languages. When you touch, when you press, when you activate a spot, you stimulate nerves, blood flow, and energy points. When you combine that with the unique compounds in castor oil, you multiply the effect. It's not just massage anymore. It's activation, rejuvenation, awakening. The body feels it, the mind feels it, the spirit feels it, and suddenly energy begins to rise. This is why we must pause and reflect. Ancient remedies like castor oil are not just about tradition, they are about connection. Connection with nature, connection with ourselves. Every time you use castor oil, you are not just practicing self-care, you are participating in a ritual that humans have honored for thousands of years. Doesn't that give you chills? To realize that you are part of a living chain of wisdom that connects you to your ancestors, to healers, to seekers of vitality across history. And here's something even more exciting. When you massage castor oil on specific points, especially areas connected with nerves or lymph nodes, you can feel an awakening, a surge of warmth, a release. That's not magic, that's biology aligning with ancient wisdom. And the result? Energy begins to flow where it was stuck. Fatigue starts to melt away. The body remembers what balance feels like. And you suddenly realize hidden energy is not something you have to buy, it's something you already have inside you. So the power of ancient remedies is not just about the oil, the herb, or the ritual. It's about the principle. Nature heals. Time-tested practices awaken, and your body is not broken. It simply needs the right key to unlock its potential. Castor oil is one of those keys. Simple, humble, yet more powerful than we often give it credit for. The human body is not just a collection of bones, muscles, and organs. It is an intricate network of energy, constantly flowing, constantly pulsing, constantly responding to how we live, how we think, and how we care for ourselves. But here's the astonishing truth. Most people go through life never realizing that within their own body lie hidden points, tiny gateways, that can either trap energy or release it like a flood. Imagine living with reservoirs of power inside you, yet never knowing where the switch is. This is where the wisdom of energy points comes alive. Across cultures, whether it was traditional Chinese medicine, Indian Ayurveda, or ancient Egyptian healing practices, there was always an understanding that the body holds more than flesh and bone. It holds channels of life force energy. In India, they called it prana. In China, they called it pli. Modern science may not always use the same words, but even researchers now acknowledge that the nervous system, lymphatic system, and circulatory system all carry signals that affect not just health but vitality itself. So what happens when one of these hidden energy points is activated? You don't just feel better, you feel transformed. Now let's take castor oil and connect it to this ancient map of energy. When you massage a specific spot with castor oil, you are doing two things at once. First, you're stimulating that energy point physically through touch, warmth, and circulation. Second, you're empowering it chemically because castor oil carries unique healing compounds that penetrate deeply into tissues. It's like knocking on the door of your body and saying, "Wake up," while also delivering the very nutrition that door needs to open. The result? Energy that was stuck, blocked, or stagnant begins to move again. Think of it this way. Have you ever felt sluggish for no reason? Not sick, not tired from work, but just heavy, drained, disconnected. That's often not a lack of energy, it's trapped energy. When you massage certain points, you're not creating energy out of nowhere. You're releasing what was already there, hidden beneath tension, stress, or stagnation. And when you combine that release with castor oil, the awakening feels even more powerful. Doesn't that sound like a secret your body has been waiting for you to discover? Let's get even more specific. In traditional healing, there are well-known energy points that correspond to major systems of the body. The abdomen, for example, is considered the center of digestion, both physical and emotional. Massage with castor oil in this area doesn't just soothe the stomach. It signals the liver, the intestines, and the lymphatic system to cleanse and release. The result is not just physical detox, it's an energetic clearing that feels like fog lifting from the mind. Isn't that exactly what we crave when we say, "I just want to feel lighter again"? Another powerful spot is the lower back, close to the kidneys and adrenal glands. These organs play a crucial role in energy production and stress response. When you massage this area with castor oil, you're not just easing back pain, you're sending a message to your energy center that says, restore, recharge, renew. and the body listens. You suddenly feel not just relaxed but re-energized, as if a hidden battery inside you has been reconnected. And then there are the feet. Yes, the humble soles of your feet. In reflexology, the feet are seen as maps of the entire body, with points that connect to every organ, every system. Massaging castor oil into these spots before sleep is not just soothing, it's activating hidden pathways of energy that ripple upward through your whole being. People who try this often report deeper sleep, calmer minds, and waking up with more energy than they've felt in years. How can something so small make such a big difference? Because hidden energy points don't follow the logic of size, they follow the logic of connection. Science, too, has started to uncover the reality behind these ancient practices. Studies on massage and pressure points show measurable effects on circulation, nerve activity, and hormone release. Add castor oil into the mix, with its anti-inflammatory and circulation-boosting properties, and the science aligns with tradition beautifully. It's not superstition, it's biology working with energy in ways we are only beginning to understand fully. Isn't it amazing when modern research confirms what ancient wisdom already knew? But let's pause and reflect. Why is it that we overlook these hidden points in daily life? Maybe because they are invisible. You can't see energy flowing like you see blood in a cut. You can't hear it like a heartbeat. Yet, when you touch the right spot, when you massage with intention, you feel it. That sudden wave of calm, that unexpected burst of clarity, that warmth spreading through your body, that is energy responding. And isn't it incredible to know you can unlock it yourself? These hidden energy points are not mystical. They are practical. They are reminders that your body was designed not just to survive but to thrive. The problem is not that we lack energy, but that we forget how to access it. Castor oil is simply one of nature's most effective tools for turning the key. It carries ancient power, modern validation, and the simplicity of daily use. And when applied to the right spot, it does more than heal, it awakens. So the question you must ask yourself is simple. If your body holds hidden energy waiting to be released, why not use it? Why stay drained? Why stay heavy when the solution could be as simple as discovering and massaging one single point? Because once you do, you realize your hidden energy was never gone. It was waiting for you to claim it. When we talk about ancient remedies, some people instantly raise an eyebrow. But where's the science? Isn't that the question that comes up again and again? For centuries, wisdom passed down by our ancestors was dismissed as folklore, superstition, or simply old wives' tales. But here's the irony, modern science is now beginning to confirm what tradition has known for thousands of years. Doesn't that make you wonder how much untapped wisdom still hides in nature, waiting for us to rediscover it? Take castor oil as an example. Ancient civilizations used it as medicine, as a beauty enhancer, even as a spiritual cleanser. To them, it was more than an oil. It was a gift from the earth. But today, scientists are mapping its compounds under microscopes, publishing studies, and realizing that its power is not mystical, it's biological. This is where science meets tradition in the most breathtaking way. What exactly does modern research say? Let's start with its primary compound, ricinoleic acid. This fatty acid is unique to castor oil, and scientists have discovered it has remarkable anti-inflammatory, antimicrobial, and circulation-boosting properties. Inflammation is the root of countless modern health problems: fatigue, pain, even chronic diseases. When you massage castor oil on the skin, ricinoleic acid penetrates deeply, calming inflammation at its source. Isn't that astonishing? A remedy described in ancient Ayurvedic texts is now explained in clinical terms as a natural anti-inflammatory treatment. But it doesn't stop there. Science shows that castor oil stimulates the lymphatic system. Now, why does that matter? Because your lymphatic system is the body's natural drainage system. It removes toxins, supports immunity, and keeps your internal environment clean. When lymph flow slows down, toxins build up, energy drops, and the body feels sluggish. But when you massage castor oil packs on the abdomen, studies have shown improved lymphatic circulation. Suddenly, the ancient practice of detox rituals makes perfect biological sense. And let's not forget digestion. Ancient healers often applied castor oil to the abdomen to relieve constipation, cleanse the bowels, and restore digestive balance. For centuries, this was called gut cleansing. Today, medical studies confirm that castor oil works as a gentle stimulant laxative. It increases the movement of the intestines and helps the body release waste. Tradition and science shake hands here beautifully. One side calls it cleansing, the other calls it peristalsis, but the outcome is the same. Your body feels lighter, freer, and more energized. Now, here's something truly inspiring. Science is even exploring castor oil for immune system support. Research suggests that castor oil packs can increase the production of certain white blood cells, especially lymphocytes, which are crucial for fighting infections. Isn't that incredible? Ancient healers said castor oil strengthens the body's defenses, and modern immunology is finding the exact same thing under the microscope. This isn't coincidence. This is proof that ancient intuition was far more advanced than we often give it credit for. What about stress, sleep, and mental energy? This is where tradition and science converge in the most human way. Ancient practices believed that massaging castor oil on specific points calmed the nervous system, reduced anxiety, and promoted restful sleep. Fast forward to today, studies show that massage with castor oil stimulates the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest mode of the body. What does that mean? It means your heart rate slows, your muscles relax, your breathing deepens, and your mind finally feels peace. Isn't that exactly what we all crave in a world that never stops moving? The beauty of this convergence is that it doesn't reduce tradition, it elevates it. Because now, when someone asks, why does this work? You don't just have to say, because it always has. You can point to studies, research papers, clinical trials, and explain exactly how castor oil interacts with the body. And yet, the magic is that science doesn't strip away the soul of the practice. It simply proves what tradition always knew: healing is not complicated. Healing is natural. Think about this deeply. Why is it that modern people, despite having thousands of drugs, machines, and hospitals, are turning back to ancient remedies? Because deep down we realize something's missing. Science has given us incredible progress, yes, but it has also disconnected us from the simplicity of nature. We pop a pill for every symptom, but we rarely ask, how do I restore balance? Ancient remedies like castor oil remind us that healing doesn't always need to be manufactured. It can be massaged, nurtured, and awakened. And science, slowly but surely, is validating that truth. Here's a perspective to consider. Tradition gives us wisdom tested by time, and science gives us validation tested by research. When the two come together, the result is unstoppable. Castor oil is living proof of this harmony. It stood the test of centuries without clinical trials, and now, in the age of data, it is proving its worth once again.
Doesn't that fill you with awe?
To realize that what your grandmother trusted instinctively, a scientist can now measure under a microscope. So, the next time you hear someone doubt the power of natural remedies, remember this: tradition may plant the seed, but science waters it with evidence. Together they grow into undeniable truth. Castor oil's story is not just about healing the body, it's about uniting two worlds that were never meant to be apart. The wisdom of yesterday and the research of today, hand in hand, both pointing to the same reality. Within simplicity lies great power. Every single one of us carries within us a vast reservoir of energy, potential, and vitality that often goes untouched. Isn't that both exciting and frustrating at the same time? We live day after day thinking we are running on empty, when in reality, the tank is full, but the key hasn't been turned. The truth is this: your body already holds the energy you're searching for. The real question is, how do you activate it? This is where the practice of massaging specific spots with castor oil becomes so powerful. Because it isn't just about oil, and it isn't just about massage, it's about awakening a part of you that's been asleep. When you combine intentional touch with the unique healing properties of castor oil, you send a direct signal to your body: wake up, rise, move forward, and suddenly, what felt heavy begins to feel light, what felt blocked begins to flow, and what felt impossible begins to feel achievable. Think for a moment about what happens when energy is dormant. Have you ever felt stuck in your own life? Like you had ideas but no drive, dreams but no action, hope but no strength? That's not because you lack potential, it's because your inner energy has not been activated. Just like a seed can sit in the soil for years without growing until it gets water, your energy sits quietly inside you, waiting for the right trigger. And the act of massaging with castor oil is that trigger. It's like watering the soil of your own being, telling it now is the time to grow. But how exactly does this work? Let's look at it from both sides, physical and energetic. Physically, massaging with castor oil stimulates circulation, increases oxygen delivery, and enhances lymphatic flow. That means your cells get more nutrients, more oxygen, and more cleansing. And what happens when cells are nourished and detoxified? They come alive, they perform better, they produce energy at a higher level. You literally feel more awake, more present, more alive. Isn't that incredible? Energetically, the story goes even deeper. Ancient traditions believed that the body has energy centers, places where power can either collect or release. When you massage these points, especially with castor oil, you're not just moving the skin, you're moving energy. You're telling your body, don't hold back, don't stay stuck, release what you've been hiding. And when that energy finally rises, it doesn't just give you physical vitality, it awakens mental clarity, emotional balance, and even spiritual strength. Think about how life changes when you feel activated. A tired body says, I can't, but an energized body says, I will, I must, watch me. A foggy mind says, I don't know where to start, but a clear mind says, I see the path and I'm ready to walk it. This is the difference between living passively and living powerfully, and it begins with something as small as giving your body the gift of this ritual. Let's make it practical. When you massage castor oil on your abdomen, you're activating the digestive center of your body, not just for digestion of food, but for digestion of life. You release blockages, both physical and emotional. You create space for new energy to rise. Doesn't it feel liberating to think that a simple act of care can help you release what you've been holding on to for years? When you massage your lower back, near the kidneys and adrenal glands, you're activating your power to handle stress. Instead of letting stress drain you, you recharge your resilience. The energy that felt locked behind tension now flows freely. Suddenly, challenges that seemed overwhelming start to feel like opportunities. Why? Because you're not running on fumes anymore. You've tapped into your hidden reserves. And when you massage your feet with castor oil before sleep, you activate rest itself. The body finally surrenders, finally recharges, and you wake up renewed. Isn't it amazing to think that activating your energy doesn't just mean go, go, go. It also means rest deeply, recover fully, and then rise stronger than ever. The real beauty of activation is that it doesn't stay in the body alone. When your physical energy rises, your emotional and mental energy follow. Suddenly, you feel motivated to take action, to pursue goals, to dream bigger. That's why this practice is more than a wellness tip. It's a lifestyle shift. It proves that small actions done consistently create massive results. Science also supports this activation. Studies show that castor oil improves circulation, reduces inflammation, and stimulates healing, all of which are processes that fuel cellular energy production. Combine that with the mental effect of ritual, taking a few minutes each day to focus on yourself, and the results are undeniable. You don't just feel better, you become better. Isn't it empowering to know that you hold the switch to your own vitality? Now ask yourself this: what could you achieve if your hidden energy was fully activated? How many dreams are sitting on the shelf right now? Not because you can't achieve them, but because you haven't felt the energy to start. How many times have you said, maybe tomorrow, when the truth is your body was ready all along? It was just waiting for you to unlock it? The truth is, your energy is your greatest currency. You can have all the knowledge, all the opportunities, all the resources in the world, but without energy, you can't use them. On the other hand, when you're activated, when your hidden energy flows, you become unstoppable. Challenges shrink, opportunities expand, and life starts to move in your favor. And the best part, the key was never outside of you, it was within you, waiting the whole time. Self-care, how often do we reduce it to a luxury, a spa day, or an occasional break? Isn't it surprising that in the busiest era of human history, where people are burning out faster than ever, we still treat self-care like an option instead of a necessity? The truth is, caring for yourself isn't indulgence, it's maintenance, it's fuel. And one of the most powerful ways to practice this is through ritual. Not random, not once in a while, but intentional, consistent, sacred ritual. Massaging with castor oil may look simple from the outside, but it becomes transformative when approached as a ritual. Why? Because rituals are not just actions, they are messages. They tell your body, your mind, and your spirit you matter. You deserve attention. You are worthy of healing. Isn't that exactly the reminder so many of us need today? Think about it. When you take a few minutes to warm the oil, Apply it to a specific spot and massage with care. You're doing more than nourishing your skin. You're creating a sacred pause in your day, a moment where everything else fades and you reconnect with yourself. And here's the beauty: the body responds to that care in ways you can feel immediately. Muscles soften, circulation improves, stress melts away, and energy begins to rise again. Isn't it powerful to know that such a small act can ripple through your entire being? Now let's explore why ritual is so essential. In psychology, rituals are proven to calm the nervous system, reduce anxiety, and increase focus. Why does that happen? Because rituals create rhythm. They tell your brain, this is safe, this is familiar, this is stability. In a world where everything is constantly changing, ritual becomes your anchor. And when you pair that anchor with castor oil, a substance already known for healing and restoration, you multiply the benefits. But here's the deeper truth: ritual transforms care into respect. Many people rush through life ignoring their body until something breaks. Isn't that true? We neglect rest until we're exhausted, ignore pain until it becomes unbearable, and push through stress until it explodes. But a ritual flips that script. It says, I will not wait until I'm broken. I will care for myself now. Massaging with castor oil becomes not just a wellness practice, but an act of respect for the incredible machine that is your body. Let's also remember that ritual is powerful because it engages the senses. Warm oil touching the skin, the gentle motion of your own hands, the subtle aroma rising as you breathe. This is multisensory medicine. Your body feels it, your mind registers it, and your spirit relaxes into it. You create not just healing but presence. And isn't presence the rarest gift in today's distracted world? Now let's connect this to energy. When you create a ritual of massaging castor oil, you're not just nourishing tissue, you're signaling your subconscious. You're saying, I choose to recharge, I choose to restore, I choose to unlock my hidden energy. That choice alone shifts how your body responds. Suddenly, you're not simply applying oil, you're commanding your energy to awaken. Doesn't that make the practice feel sacred, almost ceremonial? Another dimension to this ritual is consistency. Ancient traditions always emphasized repetition: daily oiling, weekly detox practices, seasonal cleanses. Why? Because the body thrives on rhythm. Just as the sun rises and sets, the body loves routine. When you practice this ritual regularly, your body begins to anticipate it, to prepare for it, to respond more deeply each time. What starts as effort becomes natural, and what begins as routine becomes renewal. Isn't that the essence of transformation? Let's imagine it practically. After a long, exhausting day, you return home drained. Your mind is cluttered, your body tense, your energy low. You could collapse into bed, scroll on your phone, and hope sleep restores you, or you could pause, warm the castor oil, massage it into your abdomen, your back, or your feet. Breathe slowly as the oil seeps in. Within minutes, your body shifts from fight or flight into rest and heal. Isn't that an infinitely better way to close the day? That's the difference between neglect and ritual. And the benefits don't just stay in the moment, they accumulate. Over weeks, you notice digestion improving. Over months, you realize stress doesn't hit you as hard. Over time, your energy feels more stable, your mood more balanced, your sleep more restorative. Why? Because rituals build resilience. Every session with castor oil is a deposit into your health bank, and the interest compounds. Suddenly, you're not chasing energy anymore, you're living in alignment with it. Even science supports this idea. Studies on self-care rituals show measurable effects on cortisol levels, blood pressure, and immune response. Regular massage lowers stress hormones, improves circulation, and enhances detox pathways. Combine that with the biochemical power of castor oil, and you're not just performing ritual, you're upgrading biology. Isn't that the perfect fusion of mind, body, and spirit care? But maybe the most beautiful part is this: rituals create meaning, and meaning fuels motivation. Anyone can try self-care once and quit. But when you make it a ritual, you tie it to something deeper. You turn it into identity. You're no longer someone who tries to relax. You're someone who honors yourself daily. Doesn't that shift change everything? So when you take that bottle of castor oil in your hands, understand this: it's more than oil. It's an invitation to create a daily ritual that says, I choose myself, I choose my health, I choose my energy, and every time you practice, you reinforce that choice. Isn't it extraordinary to realize that self-care is not selfish? It's strength. Transformation, such a powerful word, yet so often misunderstood. Most people think transformation happens suddenly, like lightning striking the ground. But isn't the truth far more fascinating? Real transformation happens gradually through small, consistent actions that compound over time until one day you wake up and realize you are not the same person anymore. Massaging with castor oil may sound like a simple wellness tip, but when practiced with consistency and intention, it becomes a doorway to transformation. Why? Because transformation doesn't come from massive one-time efforts. It comes from rituals that reshape the body, rewire the mind, and reawaken the spirit. Let's start with the body. Physically, consistent use of castor oil on specific points stimulates circulation, calms inflammation, improves detoxification, and enhances relaxation. At first, the effects may feel subtle. You feel a little lighter, a little calmer, a little more energized, but over weeks and months, those small shifts build into a new baseline of health. Suddenly, your digestion works more smoothly, your sleep deepens, your energy stabilizes. Isn't it incredible that transformation begins with something as humble as applying oil to your skin? But physical change is only the beginning. True transformation goes deeper. It touches the mind. When you create a daily or weekly ritual of massage, you carve out a sacred space for yourself, a space of stillness, reflection, and connection. And what does that do? It trains your brain to slow down, to focus, to breathe. Instead of racing through life on autopilot, you begin to move with awareness. The mind clears, stress loosens its grip, and you gain mental strength. Isn't that the kind of transformation we all long for in a world that constantly drains our focus? And then comes the spirit, the deepest layer. Transformation here is not about what others see, but about what you feel. It's the moment you realize self-care is not a luxury, it's your foundation. It's when you stop treating your body like a machine and start honoring it like a temple. Each massage with castor oil becomes a silent affirmation. I am worth caring for. I am worth healing. I am worth energy and vitality. Can you imagine how life shifts when you repeat that message daily? You don't just transform physically, you transform emotionally, spiritually, entirely. But here's the most important point. Transformation is waiting for you, but it requires your participation. The oil itself doesn't change your life. The massage doesn't magically erase stress. What creates transformation is your consistency, your commitment, your willingness to show up for yourself. Isn't that empowering? To know that you already hold the key, that the transformation you seek is not out there, but in your own hands. Science even proves this principle. Studies on habit formation show that small, consistent actions create lasting changes in the brain's wiring. The more you repeat an action, the stronger the neural pathways become. So every time you practice this ritual, you are not only nourishing your body, you are rewiring your brain for health, calm, and energy. Do it once and you feel better. Do it consistently and you become better. Isn't that the true definition of transformation? Let's imagine the ripple effect. A person who feels constantly tired begins massaging castor oil nightly. At first, they notice slight relief. A week later, they sleep more deeply. A month later, their mornings feel lighter, their digestion more balanced, their energy more stable. 3 months later, their mood is calmer, their focus sharper, their confidence stronger. What has happened? A simple act has transformed into a lifestyle shift. And that lifestyle has transformed the person entirely. That is the power of compounding change. Transformation also means letting go. The body holds on to toxins, stress, and even emotional weight. When you massage with castor oil, especially on energy points, you create release. Physically, toxins are flushed. Emotionally, tension melts. Energetically, blocks dissolve. Doesn't it feel liberating to imagine transformation not as adding more to your life, but as letting go of what has been holding you down? And the best part is this transformation is not a faraway dream. It is immediate. The very first time you take that pause, warm the oil, and massage with presence, you have already shifted. Maybe it's small, maybe it's subtle, but it's real. That moment is transformation beginning. And the more you nurture it, the more it grows. Isn't that inspiring? To know that change doesn't start tomorrow or next year. It starts the very moment you decide to act. But let's be honest, transformation also challenges you. It asks you to step out of old habits, old excuses, old patterns of neglect. It whispers choose differently, and that isn't always easy, is it? Yet, it is in those moments of choice that real growth occurs. Will you choose to ignore your body again, or will you choose to honor it with this ritual? Will you keep chasing quick fixes, or will you embrace a path that builds lasting energy? Each choice stacks up, and those choices shape who you become. So when we say, transformation awaits you, It isn't a metaphor, it's a reality. It's the reality that your body, your mind, and your spirit are waiting for you to activate the potential already inside. The oil, the massage, the ritual, they are simply tools. The real transformation comes from you. And when you embrace that truth, you stop waiting for change to arrive and start creating it yourself.